This is an ABC News special report. The House impeachment vote. Now reporting, George Stephanopoulos.
Good evening. We want to go straight to the floor of the House, where you see right there the first article of impeachment against Donald J. Trump, the 45th president of the United States, has passed, does have the votes to pass in the House for violating his oath of office, abusing the powers of the presidency. I want to go to Mary Bruce, our senior correspondent there on Capitol Hill. And Mary, for now, at least a very strict party line vote. You just had the first Republican now vote for the impeachment articles. You also have an independent former Republican, Justin Amash of Michigan, voting for impeachment as well. Two Democrats voting against, Jeff Van Drew of New Jersey, Colin Peterson of Minnesota. That Republican vote, Mary, something of a surprise. Is it Congressman Rooney of Florida? Can you tell yet?
George, that is a complete surprise, and we are still waiting to figure out who has crossed party lines, because, of course, Republicans so far have been completely united in lockstep with the president, as we saw during the hours of debate today. All of the Republicans were expected to oppose impeachment. You mentioned there were those two Democrats who broke ranks, joining Republicans in opposing impeachment. That is Congressman Van Drew of New Jersey, who has announced plans to actually leave the Democratic Party entirely and join Republicans. And also Colin Peterson of Minnesota, a district that Donald Trump won by 30 points. But as of now, Donald Trump joins the ranks of history as just the third president ever in American history to be impeached, a stain that will forever be on his legacy, George.
Second article of impeachment we voted on next. That's for obstruction of Congress. John Carl, the president, had been holding his votes in line completely. As we said with Mary Bruce there, a Republican voting against, a bit of a surprise. But Congressman Rooney, if it is indeed him, is retiring.
He is. The White House had been expecting that there would be not a single Republican defection. Francis Rooney of Florida is somebody who had been quite critical of the president, specifically on this issue of his actions towards Ukraine. But, George, the White House, the president, his people have known for some time that this was an inevitable conclusion, that he was going to get impeached in the House. They believe it is just as inevitable that he is going to prevail in the Senate in a Senate trial, that he will not be removed from office, that it will be overwhelmingly against removal. And you can mark my words on this. The president, who is rallying right now in Battle Creek, Michigan, will look towards that trial in the Senate as complete and total vindication. Exoneration is the way the president will look at that, not at the stain that is on his record because of the impeachment vote in the House.
Remarkable split screen tonight. The president speaking to a rally in Battle Creek as the House votes on that first article of impeachment. A second article is coming up. We'll be back with that in a moment. The second article of impeachment against President Donald J. Trump, 45th president of the United States, obstruction of Congress, also has the votes to pass. You see it right there, 226 votes, 225 Democrats, one independent, three Democrats on this vote voting against the second article. We had two on the Article 1, two Democrats vote against Article 1. A third Democrat, Gerald Golden of Maine, has now voted against Article 2. You've seen also Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard from Hawaii, Democratic presidential candidate, has voted present on both Article 1 and Article 2. But these now both articles of impeachment against Donald J. Trump have passed. Abuse of power, obstruction of Congress, nearly strict party line vote. Mary Bruce, and you can feel the differences on the Democrat and Republican side of the floor as these votes came in.
George, you could hear from the Republican members on the floor chants of 4 more years. Not a single Republican member voted for impeachment, voted for either of the articles. It is very clear that the president has been able to solidify the Republican Party behind him. We saw that in the fierce debate throughout hours today, and here it is reflected in the vote. We did, of course, see 2 members in the first article, 3 in the second, crossing party lines, joining Republicans in opposing impeachment. You can bet that Republican members here are going to be eager to tout that there was bipartisan support or bipartisan opposition to impeachment. But it is pretty remarkable that now, at the end of all of this, 5 months roughly after the president's infamous phone call when he asked Ukraine to do us a favor and investigate his political rivals, Donald Trump, now just the third president in U.S. history to be impeached.
Terry Moran, a divided House reflecting a divided country.
A divided country indeed, and it's worth noting that this is the first impeachment of the three that is like this, that is absolutely almost rock solid along party lines. People may not remember that in the Clinton impeachment, 4 articles of impeachment were sent to the floor by the Republican-led House Judiciary Committee. 2 of them failed in the Republican-controlled House. People made up their own minds individually. This is absolute partisanship right down the line here. And it may go down in history as an example of how not to do impeachment, or as the Democrats claim, they had to do it to show through history that the president can't get away with this kind of thing.
And we've had the first response from President Trump. He says it doesn't feel like I've been impeached, telling that to a crowd in Battle Creek, Michigan tonight. But President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, has been impeached. 2 articles of impeachment against the 45th President of the United States. We're going to return now to our regular programming.
This has been a special report from ABC News.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.